the site in Oakwood Beach of the St. John's Melankara Syrian Orthodox Church. A nice one-story steepled frame church, white church that stood here and was a nice landscape here of the church with the marsh in the background. It was just a beautiful sight. And on October 29th, it got knocked off its moorings. It was pushed over from where it had been and stayed here for several months until a few months ago. Actually, I think 2 months ago, it was completely taken away and bulldozed down to the field we see here now. Syrian Orthodox Church doesn't actually describe the congregation because these are people from southern India who had their Christian Orthodox Church here, and now they're looking for another site to hold their services and have their church put together again. So here's to St. John's Melankara Church. It was a beautiful memory, and along with a lot of other homes, it's gone. This is Kissam Avenue, one of the worst hit areas in all of Staten Island, where houses were completely washed off their foundations into the marsh right over here.
But you know, they're filming down there, series. They were making huge piles of sand for those people. And I'm like, and God forbid, I'm gonna die.
Yeah.
You know?
And this is what people see. This is what people see to tell you that, oh, these people are protected down there.
And then you know what, like, the last one is when, well, in 92 or whatever, they had the first one. They built the wall.
Northeastern storm.
They built the wall, they never maintained it.
No.
So then the last couple, Noristas, it came down a little more.
That was temporary. That was a temporary. That was not the
Well, I
Corps of
didn't know that was-
Engineers permanent
You know
wall.
they're doing one, right? That's
Well,
one of the
that's
reasons I'm
plan.
staying.
That's the plan.
Well,
That's the
within
plan.
the next 2 years, I
Yeah.
mean, from what I understand.
It's not going to be done in the next
Well,
2
that's
years.
what they say,
Yeah, right.
you know,
I
in their
don't believe
report.
that. No, I don't believe it.
They said that from the Verrazano to Tottenville, they're going to build a wall.
Yeah.
But they knew that it was a mess, and the sea gates broke. Because the sea gates broke, they're not holding back the sewage and the water, and they knew the sea gate was broke. And, you know, what was that last one? Irene or whatever.
Irene.
It came
the year
up
before,
to
2011.
It
Yeah.
came up to the Blue House.
Right.
You know,
Right,
so I was
right.
very lucky that time, because they didn't build a wall. You know,
Have you seen Pedro Correa come back?
no.
You haven't seen him. He was a guy that the local paper, the Staten Island Advance, did a story on, a big story about how he and his brother rode a neighbor's roof through the marshes over here to Aviston Street, which is where we came from, by Guy in Relief and the VFW post, and how he got off the boat or the roof of his neighbor's house and helped police with an elderly couple over there on Aviston Place get out of their house.
The New York Times is doing a documentary on me and Pedro. So if you want to see all this, there's a bunch of videos online so you can see the past. And they're going to be doing another one on me soon.
Yeah.
So, and I told them to wait because I'm
Here's to
raised
you.
in the house.
Here's to
Well,
you.
let's hope. You know, it's all in God's
But you're a
hands.
spirit. You're what life is about. I mean, to me, that's what it's all about. You don't give up and put your tail.
Gotta walk with God.
Put your tail behind your legs. and
I don't
walk up.
think that God gave me this house when I had no money to buy a house, okay? Somehow I got a
I
house.
know.
And I don't think he fixed my house
Right.
so that I could turn around and walk away from it. And walk away. Listen, this buyout is good for some people like them. They're going to walk away with a lot of money. But people like me who owe a lot of mortgage, you're going to pay off your mortgage and you're going to walk away with then whatever you can't prove that you paid, like not stuff you bought for inside your house. That doesn't count. Only what you fixed structurally counts.
Right.
So say they gave you $90,000, that's 50. That means out of the money they give you got to give back 40. Where am I going? What am I going to walk away with? I can't buy another house.
And you're so used to walking with your 4 dogs up Kissam Avenue.
I
that
love
you'd
it
be
here.
lost. You'd
I
be
love
lost
it
in the
here.
woods, yeah.
It's beautiful. We do it every day, and
Yeah.
I go to work in Manhattan,
Right.
and I come home, and it's just a beautiful, beautiful place to live.
Good.
You know, even if I didn't have the dogs, I'm a beach person, so like a lot of these people don't even go to the beach.
Yeah.
I mean, they may love it here for other reasons, but because I go to the beach every single day, I want to stay. You know.
Okay. The fear is still there. That the
Yeah,
next-
every bad storm, I'm checking the water.
Yeah.
You
But
know?
you're willing to live with that danger.
Because if you
outside.
raise me up in the air, what's going to
You're gonna be-
happen?
you're
It's
gonna be
like
safer.
it's like having a pier under your house.
Okay.
Not that I won't leave if a bad storm comes and
Right.
come back,
Right.
but the water's going to go right through. You're going to have breakaway walls, and it's going to be really cool. I'm going to have porches on both sides, and the dogs have so much room because they could go under the house, and we can park under the house.
I can't wait
and-
to this grand opening. This has got to be something.
Right? Can you picture it? It's going to be
Yes,
really cool.
Yes.
So I hope
The
everything
spirit.
goes through.
Just the
I
spirit.
know.
Just the spirit.
I hope that
Because too many people I've met along the way.
part of this buyout, I don't know if you know,
Yeah.
they took the one from, I think it's Tennessee, and if you read the buyout plans or whatever it's called, part of it says that it's not allowed to be mandatory, and they're not allowed to resell it. It has to go back to nature. So, like I said, I don't know if they're going to let me, but as far as I'm working towards it, they keep saying everything's voluntary, you know. So I don't know if I'm going to be a thorn in their side.
Well, I
Or
imagine
what?
you will be. I imagine you will
But I hear when I went to the meeting, there was he said there was 18 people before you who want to stay.
be. Yeah.
So I'm not the only one.
Right.
Maybe the only one on this block. That's not true. A lot of people on this block would have stayed, but they're not even allowed to fix their houses. They have red markers. So
Well, didn't you have a red marker?
no yellow. If you have red, you had
You're
to
gone.
like he had red. He had to fix the foundation.
Right.
See over
Yeah.
there? You couldn't come back until you fixed your foundation.
Okay.
You know they had red too. But
Well, this is
So-
Franca, so she is an inspiration to everybody, and this is the spirit it takes. I hope she stays safe in her raised house, but we'll keep coming back. A lot of times I pass by and she's not there, but this time I caught her, so I want to say good luck.
thank you, and
us
it's nice
up
to
there.
see you.
Absolutely.
All the glory
How about
goes to
this?
God,
any,
man.
Any closing words?
No, I think that's about it.
All
I
right.
think I spewed out everything I wanted to.
Beautiful.
It's always been a great neighborhood.
Yeah.
A really quiet, sort of tight knit community that I'll call Kissam Avenue Staten Island's best kept secret. It was really. It was the last place you could sit out in the middle of the, at 10 o'clock at night on your stoop or in the street. It's quiet. There's not a lot of traffic. There's not a lot of noise. And it's hard to find that. Trust me, because I'm looking around for new homes now, and you're not going to find this.
How are you going
Right.
to replace 24?
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
You're not going to find another Kissam Avenue. This is the last of its kind.
Yeah.
And Mother Nature wants it back, and I guess she can have it.
If the city gave you a street sign with Kissam Avenue on it, would you take it wherever you go and put it up on the house?
I think I probably would. Yeah.
But what was the fears of your family living here? That the water would come in, that kind of a fear.
I guess it wasn't. It's not an imminent fear, something that you think about every day.
Yeah,
But like I said, we did this in 1992, so you know that the possibility is there.
right.
But I thought 1992 was the worst storm we would ever see. And in 1992, the water came to right here.
Right.
Filled my basement. Electrical box had to be changed. But that was it. That was the end of it. We had to rebuild the basement, but that's just the basement. I wouldn't say there was ever an imminent fear. It's home. You're not gonna live in fear at home, but you know that possibility is there.
Was there elderly people up the street who had to be rescued, or
Yes,
besides Pedro?
you heard Pedro's story, huh?
Yeah. Who else? Who else was up there that people should have and were worried about?
Nancy is in. If you see the first brick house, the
Yeah,
one
yeah,
just
yeah.
after that, Nancy
Yeah.
was there
Yes.
for a while,
Right.
and I guess she was okay, but nobody had heard from her for about 3 or 4 days. So there was all this talk about where is Nancy and where is Nancy, but
How old was she?
I guess she's in her 60s.
Right.
Eventually she surfaced. She was there watching her animals. She had dogs and cats and stuff that she wanted to.
You're surrounded by animal lovers around here. Franca,
Yeah.
these people in the back here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she was okay.
Yeah. For the most part, anybody with children or elderly or otherwise
Disabled.
shouldn't be here
Right.
during a storm like
Right.
that, they were all gone. So there were 0 fatalities on probably
Fox Beach.
3/4 of a mile of this type of a block. There was 0 fatalities on this
Right,
block alone. Fox Beach is a different story,
Absolutely.
you know.
Yeah.
But I couldn't believe that nobody died on this block. You know, there was myself,
John,
my friend that was here, my friend next door here.
John and his family.
John was here. They rode it out through the storm. They have a newer construction.
Yeah.
I had considered, as the wave was coming in, I had considered either the attic or the roof. And when I came back the next day and I saw a house that's just leveled off the foundations completely, I thought to myself, good thing I got out of here, you know. This thing stood up, and I don't know, this thing is 90 years old. And I don't know how
Foundation's
it's
still okay?
It had foundation problems beforehand.
Right.
But it's still on the foundation. It's still square, you know. It didn't budge in that respect. But I couldn't believe it because, especially as I'm rebuilding the house, it's not built to, there weren't codes in 1925. It's not the same as a house built by Johnsen's, you know.
It was a summer bungalow.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's funny, you know. You see each section of my house going deeper has a layer of siding on it. So at one point, the indoor area was only 10 feet wide, and then it was a porch that was made indoors, and then it was another
Just to
porch
change
after
the clothes
that.
after being on the beach.
Right.
Yeah.
It's really pretty amazing how these houses were built and added on to. Yeah.
Hey, thanks for your time. And any parting words? Any words of wisdom for people who've never gone through something like this?
I hope you never. Yeah, I hope you never have to go through something like this. This was really. How do you put it? I don't know. You see on the news these catastrophes, you know, like in New Orleans and things like that. And when you see something like this up close, it really turned this place into. For several weeks, it was similar to a war zone. It was kind of. It was eerie going up Guyan Avenue a week later, and you see the train still stuck in the same spot, and you know, we can smile about it now and reflect on it, and that's all fine. But what we went through here was something else, something you can't describe, something that my telling you on camera is not gonna really get across until you've ever been through something like that. You know? And I guess that's all I've got. You know,
Beautiful.
That's my story.
Your story's got to be heard. I mean,
All right.
For me, that's the importance of doing these things.
Yeah.
Here's
I
to you,
appreciate
brother.
what you do, Bill.
Kevin, nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Be strong.
Nice to meet you.
Stay strong.
Yeah.
Here's to
I'm
your
here.
next 24.
Yeah.
And then to have the tree fall on it, too. We'll say hello to Paul here. Paul is. And what happened that night?
Well, I did see it coming. The news reports were bad, and we've heard the bad news reports before. We got away with it, but
Right.
I usually listen to the news reports and try to prepare. So I did prepare. I went to work that Monday, and I had packed my car with about 5 bags of clothes and my valuables and my important paperwork. And I went to work, and I came home, and my house was still here. And I was like,
What time was that?
I got home from work about 4 o'clock. And I thought, well, maybe we're going to get away with this one, too.
4 o'clock in the afternoon.
4 o'clock in the afternoon. And I saw John Clatcher up the block, and I told him, I said, I got to take a nap because I didn't sleep the night before worrying. And I took off my clothes and lay down in bed and just closed my eyes, and about 20 minutes later he called me. He said, you better get out of your house, the water's coming up the block. So I looked out the street, and the water was in the street, and I had my car parked out in the back street here, and I grabbed my bag, and by the time I got out the door, my yard was full of water, and I pretty much knew it was going to be bad because that was at about 5 o'clock, and high tide wasn't until 8 o'clock.
Right.
So then I went up to my brother's house in Oakwood, and my brother's in a wheelchair. He's happily married, and but I had been telling him to be ready, and he didn't listen to me. And I said, "Did you guys pack? Are you ready to go in case anything happens here?" And they're like, "No, we're not going anywhere." And I went out to my car to start bringing my bags into the house, and the water was coming up his block. So then we went up to the church in Newdorf Baptist Church, and that's where we stayed for the rest of the night. And the next day, everything I had was destroyed.
Where could you tell that the water came up?
The water came up to the center line on my windows. So,
So just about the eve of the garage,
yeah,
the gutter of the garage.
right over our heads here.
Yeah.
And my garage was collapsed, my fences were down, my pool was gone, I had trees in my yard that had floated in that I didn't know where they came from. My shed was gone, all my belongings were destroyed, my dishes, my tools, everything that was left was pretty much destroyed.
At what time was this when you first got back here?
Oh, it was probably 8 o'clock in the morning, something around that. We had a whole bunch of us were staying up at the church, and two of us went out to do sort of a reconnaissance to see the damage, and I really just took a quick look and said, oh boy. I don't have too much faith in the government. I don't really expect any help at all from the government, and all I can say is that only by the grace of God that I have what I have. So.
What did you think about the Cedar Grove Relief Hub down there?
Community Hub was wonderful. They helped me. They helped me a lot. I went down there to eat. I was working on my house and going to work and spending nights here and weekends here, just busting it out. And I went down to Cedar Grove Hub, Community Hub there to eat, and
to be with people, and to share stories.
Yeah, to eat and talk to the neighbors, and I really got to know.
I remember you talking to people. You know, you weren't just there for the food.
No, well, I was going there because I was hungry.
Important too,
but
sure.
Being there, I got to know the whole neighborhood,
Right.
and which I really didn't know the neighborhood before.
Right.
And now it's like I know everybody in the neighborhood. And Donna Graziano's a great help, and she's helped me a little bit since with little things that I need. It's nice to know that they're there, and it was a great help just knowing that those people.
For all of us, for
Yeah.
everybody coming together, it was just that spirit that just made you feel this is good.
That you're not alone.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So where does it stand now?
Well, I can tell you where I stand now, and that is, my house is pretty much done. I mean, I still have a couple little things to do. I still have some. I don't know if I'm going to raise the house because I can't afford to raise it.
Well, so many people can.
And I can't afford to raise it. I can't afford to pay $20,000 a year insurance premiums either. But I don't think that's going to happen.
Unbelievable.
I pray about it, and I kind of put it in God's hands, and somehow it'll work out. Somehow it'll work out. Right now I'm happy, I'm home, and I'm better off than I was before, you know.
What can they do down by the beach? What should they do to protect the communities right on the beach?
Well, they're putting in a berm now. Have you seen the berm?
I really have just walked along this week. I didn't see anything last week, so I want to take a look this week.
They're putting in a berm.
Yeah.
They're using something called trap bags, which
Right,
are heavy-duty plastic bags, big bags, filled with sand. They're like 4 bags deep. And then they cover that with sand, and then they're going to put another layer on top, and then they're going to plant. And I've done a little bit of research about it. It seems like it's, at least for temporary help, it's pretty good stuff.
That's all we need is temporary from a tidal surge. That's
Right.
what it's there for. Whatever happens to the sand during that surge, at least it protects people.
I think,
yeah.
yeah, but it'll give us some protection in
The initial
if we
surge
get
of
another
water.
Sandy, nothing
Right.
is going to protect us.
No, the water will come
But
in.
if we get a 6-foot surge, or that will definitely help.
Right.
And I think the one other thing that we need is they need to dredge up sand and extend the beach, because in the last storm, in the last 2 days before the storm hit, they tried to put up a temporary berm, but some of the areas of the beach were so narrow that there was no sand to push. So I think that they should dredge up another 200 feet of beach. But I'll take a little protection over no protection.
And supposedly in the future it's going to be more and more difficult to dredge up the sand from the ocean floor and keep on replenishing the shoreline of the coast. So that is another question. that we as a society have got to deal with.
That's right.
So, Paul, thank you for
Thank you very
being
much.
here. Any parting words for
Well,
your
I just
adoring public?
I just want to wish my neighbors good luck and hope that everybody gets back in and we can be all together as a good community one more time again.
There you go. Hi, my name is Bill Johnson. I am originally and eternally from New Brighton, Staten Island. I lost my house 2 years ago, not to the force of Mother Nature, but due to the force of human evil. A corrupt, rotten New York State Supreme Court judge took my home in the most underhanded of ways that anyone could imagine. At that point, I was forced to move into an area not a half a mile away from here on the boundary of Midland Beach and Ocean Breeze. And that house was hurt and damaged by the force of Mother Nature on October 29, 2012, during Hurricane Sandy. From that point on, I have fought and worked to help people get back into their houses, because I know how very important a home is, having lost my first home and then my substitute home. So I've made a walk every Saturday since the hurricane hit to acknowledge the need for each of us to work together to make sure that we all have homes that are safe to live in. So every Saturday from Oakwood Beach, a couple of miles away from here, sometimes as far as South Beach, which is a couple of miles to our north, I make this walk to remind people that we need to stand together for justice, for safety, for security, and that we can survive with each other's help. So far, there has not been an investigation into preparation for and the response to Hurricane Sandy by the governmental powers that be, local, city, state, and federal government, which I feel have been incredibly lacking, and which have been covered up by such writings as an editorial in the July 15th Staten Island Advance, which, for the excuse of the powerful, said, "Who could have foreseen this terrible event happening? Nobody could have." What a lie. What a phony hoax. We had Katrina, we had the 1992 northeastern storm, which told us that this pathway of water, tidal surges, was a potential disaster, causing death and destruction to the people living at sea level just behind you and the camera. So we have to get justice. There has to be an independent investigation into the storm of October 29th. What preparation did the city, state, and federal government do to protect us? I say it was criminally lacking. We must make accountability, stand up, and be accounted for in this case. We have to make the powerful responsible to us. They think they are not. They think they can get away with everything, including murder. 23 people died here, and the borough president of Staten Island, Jim Molinaro, thinks he can get away with not being made accountable by putting up a memorial over here somewhere to account for those people. That's not an accounting. That's a glossy forgetting about. Putting their name up on a plaque does not bring justice to their deaths, and that's what we need. That's why I continue this walk from Oakwood Beach to Ocean Breeze every Saturday at 10 o'clock from Mill Road and Guyan Avenue. We need justice. The last three words of our credo are justice for all. So far, there is no justice for all. There's just us, the powerful, working for their own vested interests. Shame on us. That's not the America that I grew